Hello everyone, welcome back. In today's video, I will give you a quick introduction of Dev Mode. Figma created Dev Mode to fill the gap between designers and developers and make the handoff process more easy. You access the Dev Mode, you have to go here for the toggle button and switch to Dev Mode, or simply just press in your keyboard Shift D. Okay, so you can see here the interface has been changed. The right side I can see different things than design mode, and also the left side I still can see the pages, so I can navigate between the pages, and also the layers here format has been changed. If you are not selecting anything, you can see on the right side I can select my language. So for example, I need CSS code, I need for example the iOS Swift UI code, or I need a specific code for Android. You also can access some plugins and so on. Plus also you can set your units. I need the values to be per pixel or per rem, and this it changes based on your selection here. So for example, if I select Swift UI, you can see here I have pixel per point and this. Let me see what if I selected for example some for Android. You can see different format. Okay, good. And if you are not selecting anything, the developer also still have access to see all your variables. So once you click on it, you can see all the levels for the variables. Okay, and you can see all the variables here. So for example, if I'm selecting the component specific tokens level, I can see all the variables 135, or I can see specific variables for the logo, or for example for typography, or for headings only, and so on. And if you select anything from here, you can see here at the right side all the levels. You can see the token name, typography, heading, font color. This coming from the tokens collection, and this is the value. This absolutely the alias tokens level, and connected to the option tokens level, and also connected to this value. Once you click on anything, that means you copy this name. Okay, so this can help the developers. So let's close the variables panel like this, and let me show you more details if you select anything. So for example, this is our input field. So once I select the input field, I can see a lot of things here. At the beginning on the left side, I can see all the elements for this input field. If I select the input field itself, you can see here a lot of things. So if you click here, you can see the changes before and after. Okay, so let's back to design mode and do some changes. Okay, and I will show you actually how the developers can see these new changes. So if I go to, for example, local variables, I go to input field, let's navigate to input field. Okay, for border radius, I will change the border radius from medium to large. Okay, like this. So if the developer open the Dev Mode and he select the input field, he can see we have some new changes. So once he click on it, he can compare the changes. You can also zoom here to can see more. And for example, if you do like this, you can see both sides moving based on your preferences. So I can notice now we have some changes for corner radius. Okay, and if you open this, you can see here this has been changed, this has been changed. Actually, I didn't change this one, I changed only the border radius. Okay, so what if I cannot see the difference here? So you have two options here, side by side or overlay. Overlay sometimes helps, because if you can zoom in here like this, you can use this slider to navigate between before and after, so you can easily see the changes. Okay, good, perfect. On the right side here also, you can see we have fill color, so we don't have any changes. Okay, and we have also I think this is a border color, if I'm not mistaken, I don't know. We don't have an option here to expand this one to can see what it is. I just can copy it, but unfortunately I can't see what it is. Even if I hover on it, I cannot see the full name. But the good news here, if you have some changes, they give you the changes. So the red one, that's mean this is before, and the green one, this mean this is a new value. Let me show you what if we go to code here, you can see also for the code what is happening. So the red color here means this is before, and actually the green one, this is after, this is a new one. Okay, good. So let me close this one and back here. This part sometimes help the developers to know your component variant. So I can see this is the default state, and I have also here the text, the value for the text is input, and the icon is showing, that means the value is true for it. You still also can copy anything from here, and this is a good feature to open a playground. Open a playground, this allow the developer to can navigate and play with your components, to can see what options you have created in this component. Okay, and this will not affect the design. Okay, you can see here, feel free to play and get the full experience without affecting the design. So I can change the status to see how it looks like. And the good news here is Figma changed this background to make sure you can view everything for this component. Okay, so if I go to default, for example, you can see sometimes it's different. Okay, here also you can change this value. So let's say, for example, password like this, and you can toggle on or off your icon. Also, we have an option to change the icon style so the developer can get the full experience to understand the components you have created. This also feature is good. You can reset to back to the normal. Another feature here also is really good. You can add your development resources. So for example, if you have a ticket, so this ticket from Asana, from Jira, from anything, you can just click here and add the link so you can see the updates for these tickets here. Okay, good. You still also can connect this file to your GitHub. For example, you go here, for example, you can see I can connect it to GitHub, or you can connect it to Storybook. If you have any specific plugins, this also can connect it to Java like this. Okay, perfect. And let's go here to the section I love. Okay, so here you can see all the details. So at the beginning, you can see all the properties. So I can see all the variables. For example, this is a variable for the input field width. Okay, so developer can just copy it like this. You can see also the height, corner radius, the border width. You can see also the padding from top, right, bottom, and left. You can see also the background color, border color, and so on. Okay, and if you want to copy all of this, you just can click here to copy all of this. But for the colors, you can also change the format here of the color, for example, from hexacode to RGB and so on. Good. You can copy this also, and you can copy this. And if you open the properties drop-down menu, you can navigate to can see the code. So for the code here, you can select, okay, for example, I need the CSS code. So if you open the CSS code, you can see some values here. So you can see here, for example, the CSS code for the width. And you can see we have here the variable name and we have the value. For our case, if we are implementing design tokens, we will separate this into files. Okay, so for example, we will have a specific file for our variables. So this will be the variable and this will be the value. And for the CSS file that the developer will call the style from it, we just say for input field width, use this variable, and the value has been defined in separated one. We will do this in deep detail, so don't worry. Okay, you still can click here to can see everything about this variable. So this variable name, input field, size, width, and this coming from the collection tokens. And also the value for this variable actually is size to x large. That's mean coming from alias level. And this alias level actually connected to the option tokens level. Okay, sizing to 180. And this is the last value. Here also you can see the scope. Developer can copy the variable name like this. Once he click, he can copy. Okay, he can copy everything here also. Okay, perfect. Some style here also you can see for border radius. We have a variable for border radius. And for border itself, you can see this is a border width variable and this is a border color variable. What if I click here to the settings? You can see I can change the values, for example, from pixel to rem. So you can see here the value has been changed to rem like this. If you open this section, you can also see the code, for example, for iOS. So once you click here, you can see all the code for iOS. You can still see also the variables. Once you click, you can see everything about these variables. So developers also can copy the variable name like this. They also can copy everything from here. Okay, perfect. And each language here has a different settings like we mentioned at the beginning. For example, I can navigate the value from pixel to point. If I'm selecting, for example, the Android, I also can see different settings here. If you noticed, we didn't see anything here related to the text or the icon because we are selecting the layer for the background. So if you select, for example, the text, you can see here everything related to the text. So let me go back, for example, to CSS. You can see here the text color. This is a variable, font family, font size variable, font weight variable, and also the line height. Same also, if you select the icon, here you cannot see because if you can go to this section, we are selecting this component layer. We are not selecting this one. Actually, the two variables we have assigned to this icon, we assign to the text layer for the icon. So you just need to click here, and here you can see the first variable for the icon color and also the second one for the font size. If you select this icon, you still have an option here to export. And if you select, for example, this one, and you go here, you can see I have a one asset here under this one. You can click here to go to the main component, or you can export it. Okay, but now I am not exporting the icon. If you just open the preview, that means you are exporting this one. You have to select the icon and you just can click here. So I can see now the icon, I can export it. And the export options here, I can export the PNG, JPG, SVG, or PDF. So you just select your preference format, okay, and you just hit export. If you're selecting, for example, PNG, you have this option to change, okay, I need to export the same size, or I need to export, for example, that double size. Okay, this is up to you. Perfect. Okay, let's go to also another section I love. We have here 3 features. The first one, for example, for comments, you can add comments, you can mention the developers or other designer. And this is the measurement. What is this mean? This mean, if I select the measurement, I click here, once I hover, you can see this red line. So for example, I need the space between this and this. So for example, I can go here, click and drag. So this is the value. Why the value here actually is 1.5? Let's check. So maybe for CSS here, I change from lamp to pixel. You can see this has been changed. And actually, I know this actually the padding X. So if you don't know padding X, so for example, it's selected this one. We can go to, for example, properties. I can see here for the padding, this is a padding left. So I can copy this and just here I can double click and I click paste. That's it. Okay. Same also I can do like this. I also do same and add my variable here like this. So you can say now you are doing a documentation for the developers to know which variables actually you are using. Okay. Okay. If I need, for example, the width, I can just drag like this. Okay, you can move this here up, for example, and the width here, actually this variable, you can do like that. Okay, perfect. Same also for the height, maybe we can do like this. Okay, and let's copy the height variable and do like this. Okay, perfect. And actually, if you are not selecting any measurement, once you click here, you can see we have some variables here has been defined already. Not everything. Okay, good. Let's go to the second feature. The second feature here is the annotate. And the annotate here actually is really helpful. So for example, once you click on the item, for example, this item, you can see here, I will say, for example, this is the input field. Okay. And once you click property, you can see everything has been defined here. So you can say, for example, as a part of my documentation, this is the variable I have used for the background color. Also, this one for the border color. And maybe also we can add border width. After that, also maybe we can add corner radius. You can add also the width and the height. And what else? We don't have anything here, so it's up to you. If you wanted to remove anyone, you just can click here. This, if you wanted to remove everything, you just can click this one. Okay, good. The bad news here actually is you cannot see this full name. And you cannot expand this one. And even if you click here, right click, doesn't work. If you double click, actually, you open the edit mode, and if you click here, actually it's not copying. Let me just see what happens if I hover. If I hover, I just can see the value, but I cannot copy this one. Okay, I hope Figma in the future to give us these updates. Okay, perfect. So if you select to a different item, you can see now if I hover here, I cannot do annotate because I did it already. So if I click on the icon, so for the icon also maybe I can name this icon. You can add here any title. You can also add description. Okay, I think also you can style this one, just make it bold like this, and you can add the properties here. So I can say, for example, the font size, and maybe also I can add the font color or something like that. It's up to you. And once you click outside, you can see this how it looks like. Okay, same for the font. So I can say, for example, this is a font style. So here, for example, I need the font family. I need also the font weight or font style, both actually same. Okay, and you can also add font size and font line height, maybe also the font color. The bad news here, actually, you cannot see the variable for the font weight, but if you select this one and you go, for example, here, you can see the properties. Okay, all the properties here, this is a font weight, I can see the variable. Okay, good. I think now I covered all the most important feature for div mode. Feel free to teach the developers in your team how to use div mode to make sure the handoff process is more easier and better. That's it for today. See you again. Bye.